So we started a new podcast at Opolis called Unemployable, and you've literally used multiple lines that I'm pretty sure I used in the trailer. So I have a little bit of a history with WGMI community. Matt Wright and I go way back. I was here at the beginning, not super involved, still not particularly involved, but that's because I have 200 Discords open and wish I could leave all of them. And just this was unfortunately one of the ones where I don't get to spend my time and hang out. But I'm familiar with what it is that we're doing here and what our goals are, and very excited to be able to talk to you. Let's just dive right in. This is supposed to be a little bit of a demo.
Yep.
I can't demo payroll, but I can demo a few things. But just high level, Opolis is a member-owned digital employment cooperative. We help make it so that people who work independently, and which is most people who work for DAOs or with DAOs, to be able to be self-sovereign and own their portable employment benefits. So instead of saying, I really want to contribute to this DAO, but I've got a family and I need health insurance, what's the DAO going to do? That's not even the right question. The question is, how am I going to access health insurance, and why it should not be? Well, that's not a question, but it's not employment based. Healthcare and employment right now are owned by companies that we work for, and this is the system that we've created to try to take that back via a cooperative model. So instead of asking a DAO for benefits, you own them, and then you can just go contribute your time and attention anywhere you want. 10 hours here, 20 hours here, 30, 40, whatever. I just want to make sure that you're looking at the right screen. Okay, cool. So we use magic link. So you go to commons.opolis.co, click send magic link. I've got to go over to my email where Magic has sent me a login to the Commons. I click the button and then I come back to this window and it should just log me in. Cool. Not to alarm anyone, but I definitely did not get a $50,000 bonus. This was me playing with the buttons and not realizing that there was no hey, are you sure pop up. And this is why it's important to play with the buttons, because so we have there's a few different things you can do from your member dashboard. So my dashboard was the first activated on our hey Rachel. So my dashboard was our first invoice on the Commons. So I was invoice number 1 and 5 and 7, back in June 2020 when we launched this product. Opolis has been around since 2017, but this is the newer product. And the thing that I discovered, canceled, was when you can go to schedule a bonus and you just type in this number, and when you click schedule bonus, there was not a are you sure button. It just sent. And then the admin sent me a DM and was like, we're not paying you a $50,000 bonus, right? I was like, yeah, that's doing a demo, and I didn't realize there was no are you sure button. So yeah, you can come in here, you can see all of your invoices. And what is an invoice? An invoice is us, Opolis, the Commons, billing your self-sovereign company for your paycheck. So you tell us what you want your paycheck to be. And I was saying this, the reason mine looks different and stopped in 2020 is because that's when I went from being an employee member to being an employee of Opolis. I was working on campaigns at the time, at the beginning of the pandemic. My candidate lost his primary at the same time that Opolis was ready to hire me full time, and so I converted from doing just basic referrals to doxing myself. This is where I live. This is how things look like. Actually, I don't know if they still look like this. It probably looks a little bit better. This again, my dashboard's not active.
Joshua, sorry to cut you off, but are you showing us a different screen right now? Because we're still on the Opolis dashboard screen,
I am on the dashboard.
the one where it says like upcoming debits and payroll schedules.
So this is what our invoices look like. Um, this is when I click on the History and Invoices tab. You can see the total amount, the invoice amount is what we billed, or what my company, Blue Gambit Strategies, was billed. And so out of that came my gross wages, that's what got direct deposited to me. The employer taxes that got withheld that went to state, local, federal, benefit costs, which was the health insurance, dental, and vision, the fee, which is 1%. And then back in 2020, we did this like 12 months free. So that's why that's undone there. And then you can see the invoice total. So that's kind of, I mean, without being able to play with it, that's kind of the only thing that makes sense to show you. Like there's a dashboard also for like the work tokens that you've earned and that you can claim. Are there any questions? All right, cool. Yeah, we are not live in either of those yet, but we are about to close a round that's being anchored by Polygon, and Polygon's interested in Opolis expanding to India, where they have a very large presence. So that is on our roadmap, but not for like January 1st. It'll be next year. Cool. So the process for onboarding is pretty straightforward. It takes 15 to 20 minutes. If you know what kind of healthcare plans that you're interested in, it could take up to an hour if you have to sit there and think about the things. We're happy to answer questions about that journey and like the flow of money. How does the money go from a DAO sending you a wrapped XDAI to being able to pay your credit card? That journey, if that's interesting to you, we can go down that thread. So, all right, so you're a DAO contributor, you get paid in, let's say, wrapped XDAI. This is on the Gnosis chain. When you move XDAI off of Gnosis chain, it becomes regular DAI. So what our members do now is they will send that DAI to Polygon. They'll go to curve.polygon.fi and swap the DAI for USDC, which usually results in close to 1-to-1 because DAI is usually a little bit under peg. And then we're able to off ramp MUSDC, which is what USDC that lives on the Polygon Matic chain is called. Our backend, we use Wire, and they're able to off ramp with MUSDC. So with virtually no transaction fees on chain, you're able to go from DAI to MUSDC, and then you're able to send us the MUSDC. And then what we do with that MUSDC is we liquidate it for dollars to be able to pay the state, local, federal taxes that you owe, the premiums for the benefits that you've elected. We divert what we need to or what you tell us to into your retirement accounts, HSA, FSA, and then the remainder is dropped as a personal as direct deposit into your personal bank account on the first and third Friday. And so instead of treating your company kind of like a piggy bank or like living out of your DAO earnings, it actually goes through a process by which you are paying taxes up front. And so that limits the need to pay quarterly estimates and kind of helps you at the end of the year figure things out.
And this is all done by the individual themselves, right?
Yeah. So WGMI and, for example, Bankless DAO are not our customers. They don't pay us anything. They are our partners. And you as individuals become our customer. And we try not to use the word customer because you're also an owner. when you become a member, an employee member of the Opolis Employment Commons, you're actually becoming an owner of the commons. What does this mean? For every dollar that you run through the co-op, you're earning work tokens. It's based off of the 1% community fee that you pay into the community to help run the. I mean, the inevitable question here is, how do you guys make money? And the goal is not to make money. The goal is to maximize the benefits that we're able to provide our members and minimize their costs. And if we can provide this public utility where independents are able to access the benefits of working for a large company, that is the profit, right? That is why we're all here, to build this global public utility, not to try to vacuum money out the top of the economy and send it to investors, which is why a lot of business models don't work. Loyalty needs to be like built into these things, and most of us don't have brand loyalty anymore. It's brand loyalty out of convenience. But if one of the airlines started offering you equity, you'd drop all the other airlines immediately. You'd never fly them again. You go out of your way to try to fly the airline that's going to give you equity in the company. Same with your cell phone. So for every dollar that you run through the co-op, you're earning work. Depending on how long it takes us to grow by 10%, it could be anywhere between 0.3 work per dollar to 1.1 work per dollar. I've seen both in the 2.5 years.
And
so,
sorry. And work is the Opolis token, just for people who are not too sure.
Kind of. Work is the employment commons token.
Right. Okay.
This is a minor distinction, but I have to make it. So the Opolis and the employment commons are two different entities. The Opolis is a C Corp from Delaware. It's the service provider. We call it the trustee. And what you're actually joining as a member is the employment commons, which is a Colorado LCA, a limited cooperative association. And this is what we call the employment DAO.
Sure.
In terms of like nomenclature and like how important it is that you understand that, it's not particularly at all important. It's just it's helpful for understanding how all the world works together.
Absolutely.
But in terms of like conducting your daily business and like being able to get your paycheck regularly, it's just kind of nice to knows rather than need to knows.
Sure. And has Opolis ever had any arrangements between, like DAOs directly? In terms of like, let me try like picture this. So DAOs have, their treasury, like usually going through Gnosis Safe when they pay out contributions to, their DAO employees, and does Opolis work with DAOs directly and help them pay out compensations to contributors?
So no, there are a few softwares that do that. Like Utopia Labs is working on this problem. Gnosis is working on something natively. Bulla Network, Resource Network. There's a handful that will focus on. Actually, Coordinape, I think, just launched their own. There are a lot of products that help you get money out of a DAO's treasury, but that money is not touched by Opolis. Where we take over, where our part of the stack is, and this is why we work complementary with any of those distribution technologies that you want to use to get money out of your treasury. The reason we work so nicely with those is because we're the layer below it, where once the contributor has that money, we are invoicing them at the individual level to make sure that they are compliant. And when And when you think about DAOs and what they are individuals ceding a little bit of autonomy to a group to be part of a community, to act together, kind of like a union, but not particularly like a union. And so there's this like, I mean, Web3 and DAOs, all of it is this like pull, this give and take, push and pull between the individual and the community. And we're using this tech to experiment and like bridge the gap and try to coordinate, right? But what we do is make all of the individuals compliant. And when all of the individuals are compliant, thereby the DAO is now like what is there to go after? So when we're talking about go after, there's this IRS when they're like, one of the things that I think DAOs will eventually get slapped for is they don't exist on paper. A lot of them don't exist anywhere. And so like what happens when a DAO ends up with, because we don't care about years, right? The fuck is a quarter? December 31st, January 1st, Thursday morning, Friday night, it's all the fucking same, right? Like nothing, the world doesn't end in crypto. It's just 24 hours, always on. What happens when a DAO, like, I don't know, something like an NFT project, and I'm not saying that the most NFT projects are not DAO. We're getting spicy here on a Friday morning, Thursday morning. They do a mint on Christmas, right? And then their treasury sitting with, $1 million in it, rolls over January 1st, and then they do whatever with it. Now they're sitting with $1 million tax liability. And it's like, all right, so who's responsible for this revenue? Is it the DAO that doesn't have any sort of legal entity anywhere or presence? But there's a couple people on a multi-sig. This is why I don't like calling it DAOs, because it's not. Like you got a couple people on the multi-sig who happen to be American, and now it's like, all right, the IRS now has an attack vector. But if you're contributing to this multi-sig or to this project, whatever, through your LLC, you're limited in liability and scope to your actions and not a general partnership by which you're responsible for the whole. And this is one of the things that I think people in DAOs are going to start getting slapped with, without the right, like personal liability protections.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what's next on the demo?
Well, what's next is you guys sign up, become members. If you so what happens if you heard about Opolis here today and you would like to credit WGMI with being the referral source? For every work token that you earn for processing your payroll, WGMI's treasury is going to earn the same amount. This is because we value direct referrals very highly. We could throw money at Google and Twitter. They don't need our money. We'd rather it stay with communities, and we incentivize our friends to bring their friends on. It is not a multi-level marketing thing. That's the first thing you think of is like, all right, so referrals, it's a pyramid thing. And we very intentionally wanted not to build a pyramid. So when you go off and refer somebody, like there's no second layer of referral, right? You are getting the direct referral. So it's a line, not a pyramid. The reason we've done this is you need to be incentivized to refer somebody. Often not you specifically, but in general, like you don't generally just think, hey, which of my friends don't have sufficient health insurance? Some people do, and that's great. And that's where a lot of our members have come from. And we want to reward that type of benevolent thinking in helping us. But we want to incentivize you with becoming a co-owner of this thing and a steward of this thing to help provide a service to your members. So let's say you join through, this is an interesting dynamic to it. So you join, WGMI owns your referral. You move on and start getting your primary source of income from somewhere else. WGMI is still owning that referral, which eventually may be represented as an NFT that WGMI would be able to potentially sell on a secondary market because it's still going to have work rewards that are ascribed to it.
Right.
It's an interesting thing that we're looking to eventually develop. But right now, I think that marketplace is it'd be very manual if you wanted to try to sell a referral.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the time when Opolis has finally arrived in, places like Malaysia and Singapore. But yeah, till then, I'm just waiting. But
so you can already join as a coalition member, and you can actually earn rewards for making referrals.
oh, sweet.
You don't. Yeah, the only part that you have to be a U.S. like work authorization for is if you want to run your payroll through us and be an employee member.
Awesome. That's actually very, very good to know.
If any of you guys are on Telegram, I can add you to our Good Morning Opolis Friends chat. That's kind of like a chat that I've been growing organically on Telegram. Our membership success team is in there as well, so they can answer any questions and also set you guys up. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for having us.